What's going on, everybody? Kalipa's Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks for the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2022 that you might not know about. So let's get started. Now the first thing I want to show you is a quick way to open your camera. Now of course, opening your camera with the camera app is easy enough, but if you're doing something else on your phone, say you're on an app or something like that, there are two different alternative ways you can do it. So the first way is by double pressing your power key. Now it's not set up to do this by default, so we're going to have to go to our settings. From here, we're going to go to System. And from here, go to Gestures. And up at the top, where it says double press power key, you're going to want to go here. And as you can see, by default, double pressing the power key is going to launch the assistant, but we can change it to launch camera. So now, no matter where you are on your phone, whether you're on an app, your home screen, or even when the display is locked, simply double pressing the power key is going to open your camera. Now the other camera shortcut is a feature known as Quick Capture. Quick Capture is a real cool feature. It basically allows you to open your camera with a simple gesture. So first things first, let's make sure it's enabled. And in case you missed it, we are in the gesture menu right now. From here, you're going to want to go to Quick Capture right here. And as you can see, the feature is enabled, but if it's not on your phone, this is where you're going to go to turn it on. Now with Quick Capture enabled, all you need to do to open your camera is go like this. And as you can see, the camera opened right up. The motion does take a little getting used to at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually really easy. The next thing I'm going to show you is a feature called adaptive brightness. As the name suggests, this feature basically adjusts the brightness of your display based on your environment. So if you're in a real bright area, maybe outside in the sunlight, something like that, it's going to brighten up the display so the phone is easier to see. But if you're in a darker area where you don't need it to be as bright, it's going to dim it. Adaptive brightness is a good way to make your phone a little bit more battery efficient and easier on your eyes as well. So to activate this feature, we're going to go to Settings. From here, go to Display. And adaptive brightness is right here at the top. Toggle it on. And as you can see, the display did dim a little, but of course, if we were to go in a brighter environment, like again outside in the sun, something like that, it would brighten up to make it easier to see. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is a feature called Fast Flashlight. This is another one of those gesture features. I believe it is on by default, but in case it's not on your phone, what you're going to do is go to Settings. From here, go down to System. From here, go to Gestures, and Fast Flashlight is right here. So as you can see, on this phone it's already enabled, but again, if for whatever reason it's not on your phone, simply toggle it on and you'll be good to go. Now compared to the last gesture feature I showed you, the motion for this one is a little bit trickier, but again, once you get the hang of it, it is pretty easy. So what you're going to want to do is go like this, and as you can see, the flashlight is now on, and to turn it off, do the same thing. So Fast Flashlight is pretty cool, maybe not quite as useful as Quick Capture, but then again, it really depends on how you're actually using your phone. So if you haven't already, I definitely recommend giving it a try. The next thing I'm going to show you is an easier way to take a screenshot. Now on one hand, taking a screenshot with this phone is not hard at all. All you need to do is press and hold the power key and the volume down key like this. And there we go, screenshot's been taken. Pretty straightforward, but this phone does have an alternate way to take a screenshot that can be a little bit easier, and if nothing else, that at least looks cool. So this feature is on by default, so you're not really going to have to do anything, but again, like with all these gesture features, just in case it's not working on your phone, what you're going to do is go to Settings, go down to System, from here, go to Gestures, and 3-finger screenshot is right here. And as you can see, it is on this phone, but of course, once again, if it's not on your phone, simply toggle it on and you should be all good to go. So with this feature on, all you need to do to take a screenshot is simply put 3 fingers on your screen and hold it there for just a second. And there we go, screenshot's been taken just like normal. Let's do that one more time. I'm gonna go off the home screen for this one. And there we go, as you can see. Works really well, super easy. Now, is it really that much of an improvement over simply pressing a button? That's really going to be up to you to decide, but it is nice to have an alternate way to take a screenshot all the same. The next thing I'm going to show you is a feature called One-Handed Mode. Now, in case you don't know what it is, This feature basically shrinks all the content on your display down to a smaller size so you can more easily use the phone with one hand. I personally feel like Samsung has the best one-handed mode. It's a little weird on this phone, but that being said, there are plenty of other phones from other manufacturers that just straight up don't have it. So with this phone, I'm at least glad we get the feature at all. Now that being said, the reason I feel like one-handed mode is a little weird on this phone is that when you have 3-button navigation, which for whatever reason is what this phone comes with by default, it's a little bit trickier to activate. But that being said, let's get into how to actually use it. So what we're gonna do is go to settings. From here, go to system. And from here, go to gestures. One-handed mode is right here. And as you can see, you can't toggle this on when you're not in gesture navigation. And the reason I think this is a little weird is because with pretty much every other phone that has this feature, mostly Samsung, but also lesser known brands like Blue, you are able to activate one-handed mode pretty easily even when you have button navigation. But with this phone, to activate one-handed mode, using the main way at least, you do actually have to have gesture navigation. But that being said, there is a shortcut if we go down here. Turn on one-handed mode shortcut. And as you can see, there's this little icon right here, and I guess this is how you activate it when you have button navigation. So with this shortcut, when you have button navigation, simply tap on the icon. So essentially, this is one-handed mode with the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2022. Now again, I'm not really a big fan of this feature at all on this phone. I feel like it's kind of poorly executed. I mean, you can do things with one hand pretty easily, I guess, but it doesn't look nearly as good as it does on other phones. For example, I got the Samsung Galaxy A33 5G here, and one-handed mode is just so much better on this phone. All you need to do is double tap the home button, and one-handed mode opens right up. And in my opinion, this just looks so much better and more usable than this. So honestly, even though one-handed mode is a really useful feature, and I am glad the Moto G Stylus 5G does have it at all, just seeing how much better Samsung's is, it's definitely not nearly as good on this phone as it could be. But essentially, that's how you use one-handed mode on the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022 when you have button navigation. Now if you have gesture navigation, it is a little bit more convenient, so let's take a look at how to do that. So we're in gesture navigation right now. So when you're in gesture navigation, you don't actually need the icon. All you need to do is swipe your finger down like this. And now I will say this is not the easiest thing to use, but again, I will point out at least we do have a one-handed mode because there are several phones in this price range that don't even have the feature at all. But again, compared to Samsung, for example, one-handed mode on this phone is really not that good. So let me show you one more time. I feel like they made this motion a lot trickier than it had to be. What you're going to want to do is swipe down right here, pretty much on the little line, and that's going to activate one-handed mode. Then you can do whatever. And of course, to get out of one-handed mode, simply go like this. And we're back to normal. The next thing I'm going to show you is a feature called attentive display. This is basically going to use the phone's front-facing camera to detect your face, so whenever you're looking at the screen, it's not going to auto-sleep. This is great because although you could technically just extend your screen timeout time, this has its own drawbacks because if you have your screen timeout time real long and forget to lock it, then it's just going to stay on and drain your battery. So with attentive display, you get the best of both worlds. On one hand, you can have a reasonable screen timeout time, but on the other hand, if you're doing something like watching a video, reading, looking at photos, you're not going to have to worry about your phone falling asleep on you. So to activate this feature, we're going to go to settings. From here, go to display. And from here, go to attentive display all the way at the bottom. So right here. As you can see, this feature is not on by default, but of course, just toggle it on, and you're good to go. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to show and hide your battery percentage on the status bar. So as you can see, by default, there's no battery percentage, although we do have the icon here. But to get it to show up, you're going to go to settings. From here, go to battery. And as you can see, battery percentage is right here near the bottom. Toggle it on. And now the battery percentage is up there on the status bar. Now, if you want your status bar to look a little bit more minimalistic, but you still want to know where you're at battery-wise from time to time, you don't actually have to have the battery percentage up here all the time, because if you swipe down like this, you're going to see the battery percentage anyway. Now, while we're in the battery menu, I want to go over another feature called Battery Saver. Now this is not something you're going to want to use all the time, but if your phone is dying and you need to save a little bit more battery and you don't really want to use it a whole lot, then Battery Saver can be a really useful feature. So if we turn it on, you're going to see the phone is now in dark mode, and a lot of other features like for example data and stuff like that are limited, and the performance is going to be hindered a little bit as well. And all this is going to help save you some battery, so if your phone is below 20% or something like that, it's going to buy you some time so you can get to a charger. Now again, you probably don't want this feature to be on all the time because it does hinder your performance quite a bit. Your phone is not going to be nearly as fast, and there are other features that are automatically turned off as well. But again, in a more urgent situation where you really want to conserve battery, this is definitely a nice feature to have. And for that matter, you technically don't even need to go to the battery menu to turn the feature on. All you need to do is open your quick menu by swiping down once, twice. From here, go to the next page, and battery saver is right here. The last thing I'm going to show you is how you can customize your stylus menu. Now, in case you haven't seen it yet, the stylus menu is basically this little menu that shows up when you take out your stylus. So as you can see, this right here, you got several different options. But if you want to customize these icons, simply go to the settings right here. And as you can see, you can choose between pretty much any app you have on your phone. Now keep in mind, you can only have up to 6 shortcuts at one time, so we're going to take some off. And now if we go back, as you can see, the old shortcuts have been replaced with the ones I added. But those were my tips, tricks, and cool features for the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2022. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. If you want to learn more about the phone, be sure to check out my full review and other videos for it on the channel. And for the latest up-to-date pricing, check out the link in the video description because this is always changing. But that's it for this video. As always, I will see you in the next one.